Does it look better with the light, or hold on? Does this make me look like a ghost? I'm thinking like right there. That's the money shot right there.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. Maybe not in those terms, but yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So what's up, man? How you holding up?
I'm good. Trying to keep busy for sure.
Yeah, I feel that. So have you been quarantined for a while? Like, I know these answers, but everyone else might not. So
At this point, we're keeping track of time by just having a dry erase board out in our dining room,
yeah,
just so I know what day it is. Because Schmen's Day right now, I'm not sure where we are.
yeah.
It's been about 37 days for me
Jeez,
so far.
are you
But
like, are you needing that human contact? You're like, please, someone talk to me.
a little bit of that, but I think all my years of being a gamer are kind of kicking in here, being able to keep my time practical.
That's understandable. So hey, for everyone who doesn't know, this is Kevin Underwood. He's the guitar player of H.T.W. Him and his wife are both in the band. She does vocals. It's actually, you guys are pretty killer.
Thank
I did want to ask you something. I just noticed recently that you keep releasing live singles.
you.
Uh, where'd you record those? Those sound really killer, dude. For real.
Uh, we we actually did a big event over at the Riff in Springfield here. Uh, it was Merry Xmas. It was like a big guitar jam thing that we did in, I think it was in December. So it was like our last chance for shows legitimately at this
Yeah.
point in timeline before ours got messed up. But it was at the Riff, and it was Doc O'Connor did the recording on it, and it sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Who's Doc O'Connor? I guess I don't know who that is.
That's Doc O'Connor has his own audio recording stuff that he does. It's Audio in Motion, I think is what it's called. He's a local guy out of Republic, and he does some stellar stuff.
That's
It
awesome.
was
Yeah, it turned out
great to
really
work with
well.
him.
I
I think so.
noticed I was looking on Spotify and you guys had like all these live singles and I was like, interesting. So I listened to them and I was like, damn, those sound really good.
Yeah,
But yeah,
they're really solid. It's kind of cool, like listening now from where we first recorded that EP that's up there
yeah,
to like what they turned into live just by some timeline, I guess.
yeah. Do you
It's kind
ever,
of cool.
I've got a question for you as a guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
Do you memorize your solos completely and like you play them exactly every time, or do you kind of like, all right, here's the structure, but here and here I kind of just do whatever I want?
It, it's mostly that where it's like I got to do this, this, and then like timeline stuff here and there. If I can get from here to this,
Yeah.
that tends to be where I lean. There's a couple of them though, just because of how the songs are, that it feels more justified to be like, this is the song. But
Yeah.
for the most part, it is like I've got this little widdly bit that has to happen, and then I got to do something from here to this little widdly bit that happens over here.
Yeah. We are kind of that way too. Like for the most part, we like depending on the song, we're like, okay, we need to
Mm-hmm.
stick to this solo, but like transparency, they we want to do like a playthrough of it, but I'm like,
Yeah,
dude, I never like there's like a section of that solo that I never play the same. Like
yeah,
I just it's like a part that I like to improvise and I'm like, I don't even remember how I played it right there in the
yeah.
recording.
That's the worst is when you like go back after a while after you recorded something, and you played it so many times live, and you're like, oh, what the heck did I do there?
Yeah, you're like, what's that run? Like I have the general idea of what's going on, but I don't know every exact note.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. So hey man, so what got you starting playing guitar? I'm just curious.
Uh, it was a little bit of a winding path. Originally, music and performance, just being on stages and stuff, has been in my family for many years. My mom and dad were both stage performers, did magic acts and music stuff.
They did
And like,
magic.
yeah,
Dude,
my
that's
dad was a
sick.
magician, and we actually had like a variety performance troupe, and I did juggling and stuff like that. As time went by, I still enjoyed all the juggling and doing all the crazy stuff like that, but I picked up drums first. That was the
Really?
first thing that I really Actually, initially in the timeline, I was like, "Hey guys, I want to play guitar. I really want to learn guitar." Because my dad had a couple, and I thought they were cool. And then, I mean, I didn't have like a huge repertoire of music I was listening to at that point in time, but I wanted to play guitar. But they bought me an acoustic. I
Oh,
was like,
yep. Same.
it was cool. Like I was happy. I was happy that I got it. But all the stuff that I was listening to and really excited for was already like the more rowdy rock stuff. Not quite as heavy and stuff as I do now, but that's what I leaned towards first. They gave me an acoustic, and I was like, oh, cool, great. So I learned a couple of chords or whatever, and it kind of like went in the closet. So then I was like, well, I still like music. I want to go and do it. So I picked up drums, and I did that, I think, for a year and a half, 2 years. I did enough to like get a little more intermediate advanced at it. Then finally I was like, hey, okay, I've done music for a while. I've decided what kind of stuff I seem to like, which seems to be the more progressive-ish stuff already at this point with, more mainstream rock and all that. And then I was like, I want to do guitar. You've got these electric guitars, just let me at it for a while. So I wound up kind of self-teaching for a while. And then they saw kind of where I picked up that. And of course, my interest of what I was listening to, finally being able to put it into a big loud amp and make rock noise, more or less. Went from there. And then my grandparents actually stepped in and got me guitar lessons started. And that's kind of the start of it. So about 13, 14, I officially was like, guitar is where I want to be.
That's sick. Who'd you take lessons with? Do you remember?
Yes, my first instructor was Zach James, whose band Skull Family actually just put out a really rad EP. Definitely check them out. I will plug them for sure. Really rad dude. Did, I think, had to be 2 years or 3 years of lessons with him, and then he kind of saw it in me, and I wound up actually working in the same place doing lessons at the same time. It
Where
was
was
a
that?
quick progression. It was in Jonesboro, Arkansas, at a place called Backbeat Music.
Oh, so
Really cool place.
you're not really originally from Springfield?
No,
Yeah, neither am I. I don't
uh,
think most people are.
we all seem to just kind of gravitate to here.
Yeah,
Um, I lived in Jonesboro, Arkansas for a long time, and that's really where music kind of started for me. Uh, and then we wound up over in Branson, traveled there and did some shows up there for a while with the Variety Performance Troupe.
I'm surprised
And
you didn't start playing bluegrass.
I steered clear of that as
I
best I
won't
could, at least.
I won't say who told me this, but and this is a guy who played in Branson for like 10 years. He told me one time when I was in high school, I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll go play out in Branson. And he said, don't do that. And I said, why? He goes, that's where musicians go to die. I was like, oh man.
Yeah,
I was like, that's
little
so.
harsh words. Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
but
He was playing around, but I always
yeah,
thought that
yeah,
was
yeah.
funny. Yeah.
I mean,
And I'm not dogging Branson
no,
music.
no,
There's a
no.
lot of great musicians and it's
Yeah,
awesome. He was just joking around and I always just thought that was super funny.
absolutely.
But
Yeah, I mean, I was up there. I was in Jim Stafford's theater for a while doing a comedy show. Um, and like in our show, I still played like Crazy Train and some of the like classic metal and all that, but it just wasn't quite the scene
right.
that
I
I
feel like
needed to be in.
everyone like every guitar player that I know it's like knows how to play Crazy Train. Everyone. It's the
it's
guitar song.
it's kind of the rite of passage. It's a rad riff and it's a
Do
really
you
rad solo.
do you remember
But,
learning it? Or do you
oh,
like
absolutely.
have you ever talked to some people like know how to play it and you're like, do you remember how to when you learned it? Like, no, they just know it. I remember learning it on an acoustic guitar outside
Hmm.
on a porch and it was cold and I was just like, damn it, with the riff over and over. I had to be like 14.
Yeah. Uh, that was kind of I had three solos that were like the breakthrough moment. This is another thing, like whenever you talk to guitarists, I feel like we always have that like learn this solo, this one and this one, and then finally like
Right.
guitar opened up.
What are your
Uh,
three?
it was it was Paranoid. That was the first big one. I didn't learn that one exactly, but I learned enough of it to be like, now I can play the song down.
Yeah.
It was that one, Enter Sandman. That one I had down to a T back in the day. I'm sure if I sat down and played it now, because I haven't played it to a T in years,
Yeah.
it would not be perfect. And then Crazy Train. And then after those three solos really happened, it was something like, oh, now I get this guitar thing. I get all the
Yeah.
scales and stuff what it's about.
Do you
But
are you a guitar player that went like, at least when you were first starting out, were you like someone who would learn a song completely, or were you like me and only learn like a riff or two and be like, I'm done with it?
uh, at a certain point, I was like, I got to learn these songs all the way. But like I said, once I kind of got what I wanted from those songs, then it turned like, I want that lick from this song, I want that thing from this, and then that part from this song.
Yeah.
And then it kind of turned into that rather than me like, I play songs and that's it.
Right. Yeah. I had the hardest time learning people's. I still do. I think it's an
Mm-hmm.
attention thing or something. I've always like, I give props to people who do like covers, like full
Mm-hmm.
song covers of like really hard guitar stuff, because I don't have the attention for it. I'll learn like a few riffs and I'll be like, oh, I don't want to learn this person's song. It's bad.
Yeah, I think you and I have talked about this before, actually, when we were working together. Uh, I have that same thing where it's just like I'll really be like, I really want to learn this song, and
Yeah.
then specifically, I don't know what it is. Like I can do riffs all day by somebody
Yeah.
else. Once it gets to like solo zone, I don't know if it's just like my pride kicks in, and I'm like, that's their solo. This is their voice, and I don't want to take it. Or if it's just I just like my brain doesn't click right for hearing their melody or
Yeah.
something. But specifically solos, I have such a hard time like playing exactly what's written.
It's tough, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I like one of the biggest problems I have is doing the same thing, and like, uh, I don't know. Have you ever like learned a song that you're like, oh, that's easy. I know that song's not necessarily easy, but like, I know that song's not super hard. And like, you go
Yeah.
to learn it and you're like, why can't I learn this damn song? Like,
Yeah. And it
it,
could be anything, just slightly different tuned ears into it, and you're not hearing the same kind of rhythmic something. But yeah, I feel that for sure.
I think there's something about like the way people play. Like everyone has
Mm-hmm.
their own sound. Like you have your own sound. I have my own sound. Every guitar player has their own style. And like something about trying to learn someone else's style is hard for me, because it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think of guitar in that way. Like when I play someone else's riffs, I'm like, this is weird. Like I would have never thought to write like this. So it's hard for,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
if it's something not hard, it's hard for me to learn it. Like, do you ever have any challenges with stuff like that?
Oh, absolutely. Particularly right now, I'm also in a Tool tribute band, and they have like such a kind of flipped mind in a sense when you actually listen to their stuff, that like Adam Jones, the guitarist for that band, in a sense kind of takes the role more of a bassist, and actually Justin Chancellor, their bassist, kind of almost takes the role of lead guitar in some senses.
Yeah.
So being so rhythmically tight with what's going on some of those sections, there are moments where I'm like, I would have never put any of those rhythm moments there. So like actually being in the tribute though has really challenged me to like, I have to play that part, because if you go to a tribute show and you're like playing this iconic moment and it's like I'm playing my version of it, people don't tend to enjoy that.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's helped your playing a lot? Like learning,
Oh
like
yeah,
open, like broadens your horizons a little bit by learning other
I think
people's take
yeah,
on stuff? Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, there's a couple of techniques that for sure I've always felt you can lift from players. Lift being the nice term instead of stealing, but
Influenced
that's kind
by.
of one of the things. There we go.
Yeah.
Uh,
I got you back.
Actually playing those sections and all that, it's really cool being like, well, that's a really cool technique, and like how your ear hears using it is completely different than when I'm like, well, maybe I do that same thing, but I'd probably put it in a different inflection or spacing.
Right.
So that can be really cool.
I think it's good to learn other people's songs. Like I'm
Mhm.
here, I am saying I can't do it. That doesn't mean I don't think it's good. Like I think you should. I
Yeah.
just don't have the attention span for it. But I've been trying, and like I think it makes me think about things differently, kind of like what you're saying, like different inflictions and
Mhm.
stuff. Because I get stuck in playing in my way that I'm like, you
Yeah.
know what? I need something refreshing that gets me out of this, routine of like, okay, I'm gonna play this scale like this or whatever.
Mhm.
But so I think it's good for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
So I'm I'm curious, what
Mhm.
what got H.T.W together? What made you guys start the band? Whose idea was it? Were you already with your wife when you guys started it? That kind of stuff.
It's a little bit of a long, windy path of um, both finding the right people and accepting. Uh, I mean, big picture, it was accepting what a huge douche I was at the time that I tried to start it.
I love the way you explain
the
that. That's hilarious.
the beginning of the band like started off as a complete ego trip for me to just like, I love Joe Satriani, I love Steve Vai, I love all these guys that where it's like their shred group and all that.
I do want to
So it
say
kind of
though that you're
started at that.
definitely not a douche, just so you know.
I hope not. Um, but like it kind of started as that. Like I found some of the people that I thought were some of the most killer players that I could possibly have, but I didn't choose it as like, well, now we're going to sit in the room and we're going to be a band. It was
Right.
literally like, learn this song, learn this song. Here's one of our originals, and it goes exactly like this. And then play your part, and I'm going to do my guitar god thing that I've chosen to do over this.
That's awesome. I still
So,
think that we should all do a G3 kind of thing.
absolutely. That needs to happen for
It
sure.
does,
We
for sure.
we did our moment. We got the Mary Xmas show that happened before all this craziness has gone on. I definitely want to do more of those, and I
That would be
definitely want you guys in
amazing.
on it.
That
So,
would be amazing.
uh, anyway, uh, that finally happened, and I both of the time I was with my wife Shelby, who now sings for the band. Uh, we had just had a baby, so I think I was also dealing with some acceptance of like I'm a dad now,
Mm.
and things in my own life kind of need to change a little bit. I need to reprioritize what's important to me. So I think I needed that little bit of time of like, this is my ego project. I'm going to be best guitarist ever. And then finally I was just like, I got fed up with myself on it. I was like, dude, this is too much, man. Shut up.
Shut
Um,
up. You've
and
got like you showed me a while back, you had like a drive, like on your Google Drive, you had like several songs that you had never released that were like very guitar driven and stuff. I still think
yep.
you should release some of those. They were
Oh, they're,
killer.
yeah, they're absolutely going to come out. It's just
Okay, good.
now it is 100% collaborative. That
That's good.
particular version of it was put together, just didn't work out again, just because I was like the me show, and that wasn't what was right. It didn't need to be that way. So then, like, we put that one to bed for a little bit. I kind of reprioritized, learned what it means to be a dad and care for other people far more than myself,
Yeah.
as it should have been when all that started. Um, and then I met Blake. Uh, he joined us on, actually first was Mackenzie Blue was our bassist at the
Okay.
time. She joined in, and we decided that it was going to be both doing instrumental stuff like we like to do, as well as now Shelby kind of doing the power vocals and all that she's blessed us with on those.
Yeah, she has
She's
like a
sitting over there,
very
so I'm looking.
oh, she has a very like operatic voice. It's very nice.
So yeah, we brought that into it and made it more of a band, and then finally we put an ad out on it, and we tried out a few drummers and sat and wait until we found the right guy, and Blake Straley showed up, and like the moment we auditioned him, we had to like do that classic band thing. That was really cool. Thank you for coming in. We're gonna sit and talk.
Do what? It didn't. Your microphone didn't pick that up.
Sorry. He's the guy. But we'll get back and talk to you. We'll send you an email soon and let you know. But we'll get back to you. So we went about that, but like it was literally on the spot that he played. We were like, "This is H.T.W. This is it."
Isn't that a good feeling? That
Yeah, absolutely.
we had that with Matt. So we have two Matts in our band. We have Matt, our drummer, and Matt, our bass player. But Matthew, our bass player, he tried out, and we pretty much knew from like the moment he tried out, we're like, he's in. But we were like, did the whole thing. We're like, we got to feel it out, The big thing is with stuff like that, I don't think people realize is you like, even though you're like, oh, I know I want them in the band, it's kind of like, let's see if they stick around. You know what I mean? That's a big thing. It's people will be like, yeah, I'm in, and they're all about it. And the next thing you know, they're like, you don't hear from them. So it's like, you don't want to, promise them everything and then have them on your Facebook where they can edit stuff. And the next thing you know, they're like a ghost, Yeah. So.
Yeah. And there's that. And of course you do as a band, you need to make sure everyone is agreed, even if like you personally feel you want to make sure that goes. And even finding someone to go in your band, it's more than just that skill set. I think there's probably been times where all of us in our bands, we've hired someone purely on skill set.
Yeah.
Just because we're like, dude, they're so good. And sometimes that's the perfect fit.
Sometimes.
But a lot of times it'll turn around and be like, dude, they've got all the skills, but they're not clicking with us. And it's not that they're a bad person or anything. They're just not clicking right within the group.
I think that plays more into it. We've had several people try out that were amazing players, but it's like they don't get us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a big part of it.
That person. Yeah. It's
I'd
nothing
rather
against that person. Yeah.
I would rather have someone who's like good and can be in the band and fits with us personality wise and is like a good friend of ours rather than someone who is just so amazing, but then like he's not on the same level of us, like personality wise. I'd pick the first person every time,
Yeah. So
sure.
We've really lucked out now at this point in time. Both Mackenzie and we had Cooper Kelly was in our band for a while.
Hey, you should plug that. Plug that you need a bass player.
Hey, we need a bassist. Please audition. Send whatever links below or something. Message us.
Right.
We are looking for a bassist, but they were in the band for a while and they were phenomenal for us. And we're really excited to see whatever they're going on to next. And, it was completely amicable on both parts of that. So now we're kind of to the core of us. That's Blake on drums, myself still on guitar, and Shelby, of course, on vocals.
The power trio. Just be Rush, dude. That's all you there's three of you. You can just be Rush.
Well, we'll get Shelby going on the bass and keyboards and vocals at the same time.
That's all. She seems real enthused about it.
Oh yeah. The jeering laughs are great. Yeah.
That's amazing. Hey, I've got a question. So you guys are saying there's big stuff coming. What's going on? Can you say anything about it or not really?
We're kind of, I don't want to say rebranding, but we're looking at it and seeing once again that we've kind of come to this place in our life where it feels like the three of us are the heart of what makes this consistent run. Not to say, obviously, again, like we're saying, we are looking for that bassist. Yeah. And once they come in and join us, they are absolutely 100% going to be a part and be able to put in whatever feelings they have towards stuff. But consistently, of course, so far it's been the three of us, and we've been through a couple of years now and really know each other and build off each other. So we're kind of both figuring out how to handle things in times like this where, you can't consistently be together and create and put out stuff like you want to, but still be able to have content and interesting things for people to see and hear and check out. So we're kind of figuring out how to keep that in motion for us.
That momentum.
So there are a few announcements coming up. Make sure to check out our Facebook.
Absolutely.
And our Spotify and all this stuff.
You do all the recording, don't you?
Yes.
So
we do all the recording here in house.
How do you do that? I'm just curious. Like, what's your process? You don't have to go super into detail, but I'm curious what your guys' kind of your creative process for writing a song, get it recorded, that kind of thing.
Uh, Generally, so far, it kind of starts out. One of us will come in with whatever our concept is. It could start with either just the concept of a riff or a rhythm or something, and develop from there. Like we actually day to day will toss back and forth some stuff and see like vibes that work and don't work. And then once we kind of have it shaped up, generally we'll do like a first demo, and that's where we'll toss that around again. And a lot of times we've found once we actually have like quote unquote the song
Right.
made, we get together and try to play all the way through that. And a lot of times at that point, that's when we found some of the coolest stuff comes out, like new bridges and transitions and things like that, to make it flow a little more interestingly. So it's a lot of kind of pulling the puzzle pieces together so far for us. It seems to work really well. And then right now I've just switched up to using bias effects for the most part for recording guitars.
How do you like
Bias
that?
effects, stellar stuff.
It's good, isn't it?
Takes a little, yeah. It takes a little bit of tuning. Obviously, there's part of me that's still fun for the real amps and all that, but especially being locked up indoors as we have been for the several weeks, the convenience of being able to just like plug in and pretty much have an exact copy of what my amp already sounds like just on tap is very convenient. And it does make that like demoing and sharing process with each other super easy.
Yeah, and you can do it at like midnight when everyone's sleeping and doesn't
Yeah.
matter. You know what I mean? You don't have to have an amp super
and the
loud.
neighbors won't complain.
Yeah, exactly. Some of these plugins are getting pretty crazy good though. Like I just got the new Neural DSP Plini
I've
pack.
heard about that one. Yeah,
dude, it's pretty stellar. Like I've used Bias, I've used Easy Mix, actually pretty good. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
Easy Mix is pretty good. I've used that. Let's see, the Plini one now. There's also the Amped Roots one. If you're interested in getting something free, there's a free one by. Do you know who the Ryan Fluff is? Or
yes,
he's got like a plugin right now that's the Amped Roots, and you can you can download the first amp, which is like a metal amp, for free. And I download it. It's actually pretty good, dude. So if you maybe something you want to add to your plugin,
the repertoire,
just to have. But they're getting pretty good. So I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Like it almost makes it to where you're like, is it worth plugging up my amp, getting the right mic position and all that, just to, pat my own back, say I used real amp. Because honestly, a normal listener won't know the difference probably.
Yeah, for the most, I mean, there's little interactive things that I feel probably more as the player, you probably notice.
The response is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a different feel and response to it, like you said. But if you're sitting at home listening to some fairly dense rock or metal mix, rarely are you going to go, that is not an actual 5150. That is definitely an impulse version, and I don't like.
Dude, they're getting I don't think any normal listener, unless you're, some guitar players, let me get that right, I would never be able to pick it out of a mix, but some guitar players they can, but like a regular listener who isn't a guitar player or something, they're never gonna know the difference. No. So it's like, like who cares?
The most important thing obviously is you as the creator and person using it. As long as you are happy with it,
that's all that matters.
Then that's really what matters for it.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you guys got big plans for while you're quarantined? Are you gonna do some recording or anything?
Right now we're kind of working on a series of covers just to kind of tide our time by, once again, since we can't necessarily be right next to each other at all the convenient points where we'd normally be able to do that. We're working out some covers, which we've already released one on our YouTube channel, H.T.W. Music. Thank you.
I'll put a link in this too for anyone who's watching this. If you look in the description, I'll have a link to their Facebook, their YouTube, and everything like that.
Thank you.
Yep.
We've got that going on. Actually, soon we will be doing some Facebook Live stuff as well, just to stay connected and again have some content. We are doing an acoustic from our living room coming up soon, depending on when this video goes up. It may have been or not. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure when I'll post this. I might post this Sunday. I post every Sunday, so it might come out this Sunday or the week after. Well, that also depends. That also depends on our Shred collab. If that comes out before, I'd like to put that up first because everyone's like the next week or two. It might come out Sunday. I don't know. We'll just see.
We'll see. Yeah. But depending on when this is out, we will have either done or be doing an acoustic performance soon on our Facebook Live, which is going to be super fun. We've worked out some cool covers and as well as some acoustic versions of our original songs. So we're super stoked about that. As well as we have, I think, like 4 new songs, like pretty much demoed, ready for final versions of everything and drums and all that stuff. There are some new releases coming out, as well as we are like really hoping to dive into the YouTube universe. It's something we all have interest in. It's just a matter of manning up and releasing stuff.
I think you almost have to anymore as a musician. You have to be doing stuff online almost.
Yep.
Or else no one's, no one's going to know about you. But
yeah,
you guys have some killer stuff on your channel too, especially that new cover you posted. I really dug that a lot.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that one.
It was really good. For everyone who's listening, if you're not sure yet or you haven't checked out his channel yet or their channel, it's he's doing a segment where he's doing Tool covers, and they're really, really good and well produced. They sound great. So even had the Les Paul and everything. So
oh yeah, you can't do Tool on a Super Strat, unfortunately.
You can't. Gotta have the Les Paul. Do you have
essential?
So you have a lot of guitars. Well, at least I don't know if you do have a lot of guitars, but it seems like you do, because like every time I see you, it seems like you're playing a different one. And I'm just curious how many you have. What's your favorite brand?
So far, most consistently, me and Ibanez line up with what works and stuff that I like in those. I have 7 Ibanez.
Jeez.
Or Ibanez.
Ibanez.
Which is probably dumb, but there's a couple of more collector pieces in there that I'm pretty proud about. There's an actual 85 Ibanez RG 550 that I have signed by Joe Satriani, John Petrucci, and Phil Collin.
How come I've never seen that one?
That one doesn't come out much. That one stays in its
I can understand.
I'm working on getting those signatures sealed. Then there's an 84 Destroyer guitar that's like their star shape that they do. Oh
yeah, those are sick.
I love that one. There's a couple of pictures of that one up. Then I got a couple other RG models that I'm really proud of. And for the Tool performances that I do, obviously audiences are fairly picky what they want to see Adam Jones playing. So I've got my Silver Burst Les Paul. I really dig that one too, though.
It's a sick guitar. You've got a lot of nice guitars. Sounds like, anyways.
Thank you.
And then you have the Ibanez Prestige, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
What's funny? I just want to say this. The first time I ever had an interaction with you is that I messaged you. It was like, hey, do you want to play bass for Lararium?
Yes.
And what the funny thing is for like the longest time, I thought you were a bass player because you taught bass at Springfield Music. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know you were a guitar player until we played a show with you guys. And I was like, he's playing guitar. And then you played a John 5 song. And I was like, this dude knows what's up. Like that's like the best impression I could have had.
Well, good. Yeah. When I started really getting into the Springfield scene, I was with a band for a while, and I played bass for them, which is really fun. Like there's something really cool actually about the mindset of being bass.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. So there was far more probably public notice of me doing that at that point in time.
Yeah, I didn't even know
Um,
you played guitar. And as
and
well as you
I
do.
thank you. Uh, I really did want to play for you guys. It was just a matter of the time right then of, like I was saying, not only me trying to do my pet ego project at the time, but still learning the balance of not only still being in that band, doing that, starting my thing, and learning how to be a dad and be a good dad at that.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Dude, hey, no, like we were never upset about it, especially now. It's like, now I know you're a guitar player. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. Like he should be playing guitar. Like, which nothing against bass players. There's amazing
yeah,
bass players out there. It's just, you seem like you're meant to be a guitar player. Like,
I certainly feel more comfortable there for sure.
yeah. And trust me, you're not the first. Like almost every band in town that I can think of has had some kind of like interaction like that with us. Like
Yeah.
Andrew, the bass player from Crowns of Ophelia, he tried out for
Mm-hmm.
us before Crowns of Ophelia, and it didn't work out. And then we
Mm.
hit you guys up. Steven from Mortal Review played with us. I think I've asked almost every, we've had, you know, until we finally found a bass player, but I've had a run in with almost every band like that. So don't, don't
Yeah.
even sweat it.
Yeah.
But it's funny. So, you know,
Mhm.
what what was your biggest influence, would you say?
Uh, there's obviously a long list there, but the most consistent one, the one that finally, like, from, like we talked about before, that kind of was the changing moment for me, being like, drums are cool, drums are what I like, to like, dude, guitar. uh, was a bootleg Joe Satriani record that I bought for like $5
That's
and
sick.
at back when Hastings was still a thing.
Dude, I
If you
remember
remember those.
Hastings. Yeah. Have you ever
That was
I
like,
have
yeah,
Go ahead, sorry.
that was like every Friday payday would happen for me when I was like 16 or whatever. And I was
Yeah.
like, go to Hastings, buy some used CDs. That was the
Yeah. For those of you who don't know what Hastings is, the only thing I can describe it as is like Amazon in a building. or like or maybe Barnes and Noble on steroids. I don't,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
that's
that's
more.
probably a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty awesome. I actually have one of my favorite shirts that I still wear is from there. It's the Pillsbury Doughboy, and he's a zombie, and it says grains, and it glows in the dark. It's a
Beautiful.
sick shirt. Yeah.
Yeah. I missed those stuff. Anyway, sorry.
So you got Joe
Um,
Satriani there. Sorry.
Joe Satriani is where we started with that. I heard that record, and the first song on that was One Big Rush. Like the moment that drum fill started on that, right into the crazy guitars that just blasted out of that, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. So I think all this time I've been trying to be a drummer, I've been listening to guitars. Like I think this is what's been happening. So that was the impetus on that. And obviously, going from there, you have that immediate connection over to Steve Vai, and then you wind up in that universe, and you are able to jump around, try all these guys, Eric Johnson, into like Dream Theater, and like Dream Theater happened, and I was like, dude, so now you can write songs that aren't just verse, chorus, solo, bridge, verse, chorus. You can do these crazy progressive, whatever winding path you want to go thing. So
You know
like,
what we should do? We should do a cover of that Dream Theater song where they play the Fibonacci sequence or whatever. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think that's Lateralis by Tool,
Is it Tool? I
but
thought it was
that's
Dream
also,
Theater.
they might have done
Maybe
something with
they
it.
maybe I could be totally mixed up with my bands here.
At
I
least
thought
I
Dream
know
Theater did
the
something like that.
the only one I know of, at least, is Tool. But
They're
Tool and
still,
Dream Theater,
yeah,
cool
they're,
progressive universe.
yeah, exactly.
But uh, so that was kind of the path I went down. Still, Joe Satriani kind of sits up there for me, just in the like melodicism and like listenability to his solos, even if they aren't like instantly accessible as a player. They are instantly somebody who isn't like a big crazy shred guy. You can still listen to the stuff he's doing in the solos and be like, well, there's some thought going into that.
Right.
And then of course, like you go into the other levels of like Steve Vai's and John Petrucci's and John Five and all those, and it's just like those dudes are just crazy sick on guitar.
Yeah, they all are. What when you're listening to like guitar driven instrumental music, what do you tend to lead towards, like real shreddy guitar licks, or do you like more melodic with a little shred?
It kind of depends on the moment. For the most part, though, I probably try to stick in that like more melodic universe.
Yeah.
But again, it kind of depends on the day. Some days I wake up and I just want in your face guitar.
Yeah. Dude, I'm the same way. Sometimes I go both ways too on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like with Eric Johnson. When I first heard Cliffs of Dover, I was like, it rocked my world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, everything, pretty much all those guys do are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
When are you going to drop your solo instrumental album?
Just with how H.T.W is kind of turned, I think anything in those regards, it's still going to be under that for the most part.
So like an H.T.W instrumental album, is that what you mean?
Potentially. That could be really fun.
That'd be sick.
Like do a double album, do an instrumental one, and
we talked about doing that too. Yeah, it'd be sick.
That could be fun.
I think you should. You guys, have like the album with all the singing, and then do something like guitar driven instrumental. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Or at least a song
for sure.
Yeah, at least a song. You got to give us that.
Yeah.
But that's sick, dude. What? Which one of those guitar players is it? Joe? Do you think he's probably your favorite out of all of them?
I think so. Just because consistently the stuff that he does, I'm always like, dude, that's the way to do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, I'm impressed and influenced by all those guys. But I think just for my ears and what I hear, he most consistently seems to scratch the itch.
Yeah. I never really got into him that much until recently, like a year or two ago, maybe. I was at a flea market, and my truck is like older, and it has a tape deck. That's all I have in it. And
nice.
I found a Joe Satriani Dreaming 11 tape. Do you know that one?
Ooh, that's
Dreaming
the first EP. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
so
it's not his first one. It's like a live album with also a regular recorded. It's weird, but
some class A 80s right there.
Yeah, he still had hair. That's how old it is. And but I found that, and I was like, I'll give it a listen, and I listened to it, and I was just like, damn, this is good. And I don't know how he gets his live recordings that, like, they're always top notch. They sound
stellar,
amazing. Dang, man, that's what you guys need to do. Have hit that. Would you guys say that guy's name was? The one that did yours?
Doc O'Connor.
Doc O'Connor. You just need to have him come record all of your stuff, because I really dug it.
Yeah, the sound on that, he needs huge props on that for those live songs. It sounded amazing.
Yeah, they sound really good. And and it's hard to get good live sound. I don't think people realize that. It is hard.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What got you into recording? Like, is that something you just picked up to be able to do for the band, or was it something you had already been doing?
I think I've always kind of had some interest in it. I part of like what attracts me actually to music in the first place is actually like the mechanics of it, in a sense of like, these chords or these chord shape implications or whatever really bring you over into the, this kind of scale, and then you put it over this sort of timing. So the mechanics of that is something that really kind of gets me going on those things. So almost like the other part of that eventually felt like, well, now you got to capture that and figure out, like, once you record this guitar part and you're putting it on top of, you're adding the bass, you're adding the drums, and you're making sure that through your frequencies and stuff, you're not, bass isn't diving too deep into what you're bass drum is doing or the drums are doing. And you got to make sure that guitar is not diving too far into what bass is doing. So the like
Right.
mechanics of figuring out the frequencies and how they sit together properly, which I'm still learning, kind of excited me. So it kind of grew up along with both the guitar playing and all that, I think.
Yeah. And dude, recording's one of those things. I don't know how you feel about it, but you can be doing it. Dude, I've been recording since I was like a junior in high school, you know? And I told Austin, the other guitarist in my band, you know him, but I was telling him, I said, you know, I've been doing this for almost 10 years and I still suck. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's something that takes a
Yeah,
long time to get good at, I feel like. And
it's one of few things in life that legitimately you almost have to just do it to figure out what does and doesn't work. There's no
yeah,
like read this online. Some guy's gonna say, if you do this, this, and this, awesome sound, and then you do that on your track, and it's like, no.
yeah, exactly. It never works. Like it just doesn't.
And
But
then like you experiment enough, at least with what they were saying, and eventually it's like, oh, if I change this and this because what these things are doing, then it kind of now I'm getting it.
yeah, I always felt like a big thing for people like us who learned how to record a little bit. You know, like I'm not saying like because I'm not professional by any means, but like I do okay. And it was always like a sense of, okay, I have this song that I know for a fact I will forget if I do not record this. You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah. It's like now I have it and I can relearn it. You know, because I'll go back
Yeah,
through my Google Drive and listen to something. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. You know, do you ever do that?
yeah, and there was a lot of that too. Not only that, and like I go back and I'll find stuff I just have of like me clean playing guitar on my phone, and I'm just like, what the heck did I play there?
Yeah.
But if you don't capture that at that moment, you're gonna wake up at whatever it is in the morning the next day and be like, oh crap, I forgot all.
That's
At least if
amazing.
you have the like notation somewhere, either on your computer or on your phone, you can usually tap into your own brain to
Yeah.
like relearn at least a version of your own thing.
You really can, but there's been times where I've had, and I'm sure you have too, like where you have something recorded, you listen back and you're like, oh, this is sick. And you're like, oh, this is a sick riff. And then I've had times where I could not relearn it. I'm like, I don't have any idea what I'm doing. Like, you know, you
Yeah.
ever have that?
Oh, absolutely. There's been several things where it's just like, man, I wish I could play that again. Do I release this now? I can't play it. Can I still release it?
Dude, how
I
many
feel like I could
songs
release it.
how many songs do you think you have that are unreleased, like on your drive or something?
At least 30.
Jeez, dude,
Just
30 songs.
between drive and uh, just phone clips and stuff. There's probably diggable.
Are you
How
talking
many of
like,
those?
go ahead, what?
How many of those wind up being something we actually put out is the bigger question. But
Exactly. How many of those do you think are full songs or just like a few riffs here and there?
mostly like pieces to stuff. So like if any of them did develop into something, it would be like picking back up one of those and then developing it further, or like being like, hey, this riff actually goes to that riff pretty good,
Yeah. You know,
kind of stuff.
you could always take the stuff that you have no, like, cause I have some stuff like this and I'm sure you do too, where you're like, that was cool, but it's probably never going to get released cause it doesn't really fit us, you know?
Yeah.
You could always take that stuff and be like, hey guys, here's you know, some ideas we came up with that didn't work out, but we thought it'd be cool to share with you. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
cause I'd love to hear them, you know, I'll be there every time. I want to hear those riffs,
Nice.
but that's sick,
That's a good
man.
idea.
Yeah, dude, for real. I think a lot of bands should do that. Like, you know, I see people doing that with like their Patreons and stuff too. They're like,
Yeah.
hey, you know, if you pay this much a month or you know, you've looked into
Yeah.
Patreon
Yeah. I've
probably, right?
checked out.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you like go through it and like some of them be like, here's stuff I never released because it just didn't make the cut. And, dude, I'm a sucker for that stuff. I want to hear the deep cuts, you know.
Yeah.
I bet
We'll,
you
we'll,
have
we'll get
fans that would do it.
yeah.
You
We'll get
should.
you a Nathan executive producer right on those now, since you.
No, man, no. But you know what you can do for me is when you for all those who haven't seen it yet, I can't remember which one it was. We're doing 2 shred collab videos, and Kevin's in both of them. He was in the lockdown shred one, which we already posted, and then he's
Mhm.
also in the 417 shred collab. I can't remember which one it was, but in one of them you're wearing this H.T.W shirt that was fucking killer. I was like, that is a sick shirt. I got to get one of those. So
That was the lockdown one.
was it okay?
I think because I think I'm wearing Sardis in the other one.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think you're right. I
I
was
need a
gonna wear.
Literarium shirt, so we can
We
just
want to
do
do
a
a
trade on
trade.
that.
That'd be nice. Yeah, I'd be down for that because they're really killer shirts.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, can you get those online anywhere for anyone listening, or do you guys do
Yes,
that?
you can get them on our Bandcamp page that we have.
Sick.
We're currently working out all our merch and stuff through that. But,
Are you still shipping right now with everything going on?
uh, as we get the chance to make it to the shipping location, yes, but it's a little bit slower than it normally would be.
Which is understandable, of course. But yeah, man, I can't wait for that shred collab to come out.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
There, I've seen every solo so far, and there's some like I don't want to give too much away, but like I think I said this in the last interview I did with Steven already though anyways, but
Mhm.
Josh Cates from Lo and Behold, you know him?
Mhm. Yeah,
He played
I know the
trumpet.
name. I haven't met him.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah, he played trumpet on his and it fits so well in his section. And I was just like, dude, he wins. Every time I show anyone like my fiance or my brother something like, hey, check out what we're doing,
Yeah,
I always go to that because I'm like, look at this. Isn't that sick? It's
that's
just
rad. I'm excited.
it's yeah, I'm glad he jumped on because that was I told him Kevin Brooks, who is in the
Mhm.
band Cavil, just doing a little plug. I'm trying to plug all these,
Oh
but
yeah,
he said, hit up Josh Cates. He can even play trumpet. So when I told Josh, I was like, dude, you should play trumpet. Like, and he did, and
yeah.
it turned out so well. I can't wait for you to see it.
I'm stoked now, man.
Yeah, your solo rips in that thing too.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it turned out pretty well. I'm just waiting for one more person, and it'll be sick.
I'm super excited. The other one was a lot of fun, and I hope we get to do more of those as time
I
goes
think
by.
I think I'm gonna do some collaborative stuff like that.
Yeah,
Collab. I said that weird? But I'm gonna do more of that. I'm thinking about doing like guitar battle stuff. So
that'd be fun.
just like 2 people, like me and one other person. So I'll probably get
Mhm.
you in on some of that stuff.
I'm down.
It'd be fun, just some guitar battle stuff, or even or if I write something, have someone feature on it. Just to,
Yeah,
I think we all should do more collaborative
absolutely.
stuff like that.
That's one of those things right now. We have such an interesting music scene right now that really all of us kind of being able to step together and help each other in some ways to not like, hey, I'm going to steal some of your fans, but more like sharing in the
Sure.
community, I guess,
Yeah,
is
it's like
really cool, and I hope to see more of it.
I do too. Like, because there's we have fans that would love you guys, and you have fans that would love us. So it's like, why aren't we? Like, why aren't we
Sharing that,
helping
yeah,
each other?
yeah.
Yeah. There's I'm sure everyone in the scene has had a bad experience with another band or something, and I'll never
Mhm.
talk about those bands or anything because I'm not like that. But I I haven't had an experience like that in a really long time because of
No,
all the amazing people in the bands around here. Like, I truly feel like all the bands around here right now, we're all legit friends. Like, we're not,
mhm.
and there's so many. Like, I can name a ton of them. There's Cavil, Sardis, you guys. All of us are Crowns of Affiliate. I'm trying not to leave out anyone, but Mortal Review. Like, all of us are like, the best way I can describe it is like we're like best friend bands. I don't know how.
Yeah,
It's like, and I love that, and I think we should all really just do more stuff like this and try to
absolutely,
help each other thrive.
absolutely. That's how we make it. You know,
Exactly.
it's not, obviously we want to get ourselves as far ahead as we personally can, but there's no way to do that if we don't support each other and show what we're doing. So,
Exactly. And I don't know how you feel, but anytime any of those bands, like, cause there's a lot of bands in Springfield, surprisingly, a lot. And, anytime, we play with any of those bands, all of my like nervousness and stuff just goes away. I'm like, oh, I'm cool. My friends are here. Like, you know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Do you ever feel that way? It's just like, okay, it helps me
Yeah.
relax.
I mean, there's always, of course, that healthy guitarist to guitarist, I think, competitiveness.
Yeah.
But none of it's like, I have yet to do a show with like somebody else I respect as guitarist, of course, in town, because there's some really killer dudes where I'm just like, F that dude. I'm going to be better.
Yeah.
It's more of a like, I want to see how good we are all going to do tonight, and then we can like nerd out on guitar.
Exactly. I feel that way about all you guys. Every time, like all those bands, I see you play and I'm like, damn, he's good. And then I see like Sean and Kevin from Sardis play and I'm like, oh, damn it, they're good. Like, you know what I mean? But it's amazing because it makes you want to go home and be like, all right, I got to practice. But so, hey man, do you want to plug anything?
Once again, at the moment, what we're doing is we're kind of working out how we can consistently have fresh content and cool things coming out. A big part of that is going to be our YouTube stuff. Hopefully checking out a couple of new shows that we're going to be able to handle, vlogs, videos, all sorts of cool stuff coming this way. We are working on new singles. So, of course, our Spotify, whatever you stream on, we are available on it. Keep a close eye out. There is going to be some cool announcements coming up very, very soon. So,
hell yeah.
I think that's what I've got.
Cool. And you're on pretty much every social media, right?
Yes, we got Facebook. Still kind of do Twitter.
I do want to ask, though, just so people know, which one do you use the most? That way they can follow that.
Most consistently is going to be our Facebook and Instagram. Both of those keep fairly consistent. Facebook probably a little bit more. And like I said, we're going to be kicking into high gear here on YouTube pretty soon.
I can't wait for that. And for everyone watching, stay tuned because Kevin and I are thinking about probably putting a show together. So it'll be kick-ass. So
absolutely.
Awesome. So, hey, man, thanks for being on here and, keep shredding as always.
That's the plan. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We'll see you later, man.